Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at Ethereum. So let's jump into the price action and see what's going on. Okay, so what we were looking for yesterday was basically saying that, potentially we could say we had a fifth wave in here and we were looking for that possibility of coming down and looking to form a fourth wave. So I'm actually just going to turn that one on for a second. So if this is completed and we've had a triangle in here, fifth wave completed, so this five wave sequence is completed here, what we'd be looking for is basically something like this. So what I'm on the lookout for here is if we actually face further rejection here and we look to push down one more time, in which case we can say that we've had our wave 3 into this high. This is basically an A wave, looking for a B wave up, and then looking for that potential of a C wave to the downside, which could look to bring us down towards the zone of this 2027. The 0.382 would actually be here at this 2014. And then really the lowest we'd want to come is towards this 1976. If we start to break down towards this 1976 area, we'd need to start being careful within the structure that we don't have a impulsive move forming off these highs here. So we need to just be aware of that. If we start to break down and we cross this 1976, what I would then be looking out for is the potential that we have something like this as a bigger five-wave move to the downside. And then what would we have to see is how we react back to the upside. If we just get a three-wave move back up, it could indicate we are going to see a deeper sell-off here. So basically that is what we're looking for on within this area. Now, it is also possible that this third wave is still ongoing, and how could that be? So basically what I'm looking out for, we talked about this yesterday, that potentially we could still argue that instead of looking at this as a fifth wave completed here with a triangle, we could still see something like this as a W, X, and a Y, or an ABC in this case, in which case we could look to turn around from here and look to actually push up into these zones. So what I want to see is whether we manage to continue to hold this 2051 area. The alternative way that we were discussing about looking at this structure was actually looking at it as a bigger triangle. So this is also still on the cards here. What we'd have to say is that basically we've had this as an A, this is a B. This would have had to be a double zigzag of some kind here for the C wave. And then at the moment, we just have a three-wave move up. So I'm waiting to see if we start to reject. If we reject down in a bigger three-wave move here, potentially that lines up with this idea of finding a E wave for this triangle. As long as we stay above this zone of this 2051, I wouldn't really want to break this level. Otherwise, it starts to become more likely that we're heading down for, the leg where this becomes A, B, and a C wave to the downside. So this is something to just keep an eye on. Watch this bottom trend line here. If we do move there, if we do form a five-wave move down here, or we'll be looking to see where that one-to-one takes us. If it's above this, we need to see if we get a reaction here, and then we start to break to the upside, something like that, playing out after that point. So this is what we're looking out for, as a potential triangle that is still actually in play here. Okay, so now if we are looking for that potential that we've completed here as an ABC, how would we want to see this play out? So if we want to say that we have a low in place here, what we want to see is this low obviously hold, and we want to see this move starting to progress to the upside. So I'm actually going to come down here to the 15 minutes. So this is just looking for that potential of a breakout. The problem is currently we just have, a three-wave move. It's possible this develops into something else. And what I would be on the lookout for is something like this. So if we do form this as a 1, 2, and then this move here as an additional 1 and looking for this wave 2, we've actually come down into this 50% area already. And I want to see now if we do start to, push up in a bigger way here. So what I'm looking for is basically to see whether this 2084 level holds. If we do hold this zone, potentially we could be setting up for, that turnaround, looking for that push to the upside. But we'd only really get a confirmation by moving up past this zone. So this is, if we go with that 50%, this would be towards this zone here of this 2147. If we do come down a little bit deeper and potentially hit this 0.618 area, what we'd be looking for would be this 2143. So the key thing is here, we would need to get back above some of these key highs that we've got here, this 2141 area, and then, basically see whether we good impulsive structure here, developing to the upside. And then if we do start to break this high, we will be looking for that target that we talked about. So within this, like I said, what I would want to see is at the moment we can just argue this is a three-wave move here to the upside. So, this could also just become an A wave. We come back down for a B wave and we get a C wave, and then we just look to break down from there. So what we want to see is, good structure developing here, where we look at this as a 1-2, potentially another 1-2 here, but then we need to see this, start to progress up here and look to head up towards some of these key areas. This 2,143 would be a 1.618 if this is a 1 and a 2. And then this one here would be the lower one, would be a 1.618 if this is a 1 and a 2, towards this 2,133 area. So, we want to see this get up into these zones if this is playing out. What we don't want to see is, if we want to look for this bullish potential, we don't want to see this move do something like this and break down past this point. Really, otherwise, I mean, this is really sort of micro counting. We can argue something like an extension within the fifth wave here. But really, if we start to break down past this 2063, that becomes less likely. And actually, it's probably more likely that we're going to see that move back to the downside, looking for this fourth wave low to come in, which would be looking for this target zone, potentially towards this 2014 area. So this would be an interesting zone if we do start to break down here. Obviously, at the moment, it's just ranging sideways here. I want to see if we do start to get a breakout here. We fail to get that breakout, fail to take this high point, and we get a rejection. So, I mean, we're right within the zone here of a typical rejection area. If I just throw this on here, you can see we've actually come right up to the 618 area. So, it's possible that this could look to progress down one more time and possibly even form within some kind of a channel here, something like this, where we actually look to break down one more time for this 1-to-1, looking to bring us down towards this 2027. So for as long as we maintain this low of this 2051, there's potential that we can look to progress up here. If we start to break that, yeah, my next place I'd be looking would be towards this 2027. And then the lower target we wouldn't really want to lose would be this 1976 area. So this would, if we start to break down past this, we'd have to be careful because we could start to see, a five-wave structure to the downside playing out in that case. So what we'd have to be careful of is basically something like this. And let me just remove this. I haven't ruled this out yet, that potentially we could start to see a bigger five-wave move to the downside here. What we'd have to argue, though, is we'd have to see a move past that 1979. If we do start to break down here and we form something like this as a 1, come back up for a 2, 3, 4, and a 5, and we start to break down into the zone, we need to be careful of the fact that, we could be looking for an additional fourth and a fifth wave. If we did get a five-wave move like this, it would be very unusual given the structure, unless we want to look at this as some kind of flat correction and potentially we have, another 1-2 here, but yeah, it doesn't really fit. So if we do start to break down deeper like this, what I would be looking at is that potentially we could have a completed move here, and this could become an A, B, and a C to the downside. And from there, we'd have to monitor the C wave. If it starts to move past that 1618, we'd have to be careful because that could actually indicate a much bigger break to the downside here. So, I mean, we are still holding supports. So, as long as we do that, we can look for that continuation up. But really, what we don't want to do is start to break down past, some of these key support zones. If we did form a five-wave move here, the only way it would make sense is that if this was completed, and then this would be A, B, and then looking for a C wave here. But really, if we do start to break down deeper, we don't want to come below this zone here of this 1887. Breaking below 1887 would sort of start to throw this count. It would put it in a lot of pressure at that point because once we start to break down to these key levels here, you know we've got the possibility of this move actually extending out and becoming an impulse at that point. But until then, I'm going to be watching these higher support ranges here, looking for this as my next likely count here for as long as we don't break above this high. If we do break above this high, basically we'd be looking for that potential to actually, complete this move as a third wave higher up here, and then look for this fourth wave at a later date. So these are the things that we're looking out for at the moment. Basically, need to just give it a bit of space here and see what happens. If we do continue to progress up here and break to the upside, potentially we're still within the third wave. If we fail to do that, we could be within this fourth wave still, and looking for that potential to come down towards this 2027, um, all the way really to this 1976 area would be a viable target zone. But we wouldn't really want to hit this 1618 here. Otherwise, we have to be cautious of, having an additional fourth and fifth. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. As well as that, you'll find affiliate links for both PrimeXBT and BYBIT down there. Both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. Check them out. If you do not have one, using the affiliate link does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Everyone, have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.